a $50 per hour federal minimum wage. What could that do for you? Could you finally go and buy a home? Could you pay off some of your credit card debt? Could you pay off a car payment? Could you finally get out of student loan debt? Well, that's what we're going to discuss today, because there are some lawmakers that are looking at raising the federal minimum wage. We've already been discussing $16 per hour. We've talked about a $20 and $25 per hour, but now they're saying $50 is just the bare minimum. I want to break down what's going on here, where this is coming from, and how this could impact us moving forward. Because again, this will impact us moving forward. So before I get into all that, all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So where in the world would somebody believe that $50 per hour is the bare minimum? Well, you probably guessed it. It's in California. Look at this. It says California Senate candidates spar over Democrats' proposal for a $50 minimum wage. It says do the math. So we are not going to do the math, but she's already done it. She's showed us exactly what her thought process is. And I want to run you through this first, and then we'll discuss how this is potentially going to impact all of us. Look at this. It says, in the Bay Area, I believe it was the United Way that came out with a report that very recently, $127,000 for a family of 4 is just barely enough to get by. She goes on to say, another survey very recently, $104,000 for a family of 1, barely enough to get by. Low income because of the affordability crisis. Now, here's what you need to understand. In the state of California, they have a minimum wage that's, I believe, like $16 or something like that. And it ranges depending on where you're at, but $16 to $20 in the state. The federal minimum wage is $7.25. So effectively, what she is calling for is a $50 minimum wage. $50. Because the state of California is so expensive. Here's the thing. And this is where I bring this up, and this is why some say Democrats are oblivious to what's really going on, the crisis at hand. Because Democrats continue to tax the American people, tax us for every little thing because they're giving all these benefits away. Great, I understand that. I understand the benefits, understand how we have to pay for them. The concern is, eventually, we will not be able to tax the American people. We can't increase the tax percentage because if we do that, people are going to stop voting for those Democrats. Well, here's the thing. Instead of increasing the tax percentage, what Democrats are asking for is let's increase the minimum wage so we can actually make more money off these people without actually increasing taxes. Because it's a win-win for Democrats, because here's the reason why. Number one, they're going to come out and say, well, we got you more money. You're welcome. Number two, they're going to come out and say, we did not tax you any more money. You're welcome. When in essence, they did tax us more money. It's just they didn't tax us by increasing the tax percentage. That was it. Now, I want to show you some other stuff. Okay, I want to read this to you as well. She says, just do the math. Okay, of course, we have national minimum wages that we need to raise to a living wage. We're talking about $20, $25. Fine. But I've got to be focused on what California needs and what the affordability factor is when we calculate this wage. It goes on to say, if you look at what California has done for fast food franchises right now, increasing the minimum wage to $20 and what's going to happen, that's going to increase costs for hardworking Californians to go to a franchise to get a Big Mac for $9. It's going to be $15. Well, the Big Mac in some places is not $15. It's closer to $20 for a Big Mac meal. That is ridiculous. Okay, I remember just years ago, you could get a Big Mac meal, which is normally a number one at McDonald's. You can get this for less than $10. You're usually paying about $6 to $8 for this exact meal. And now it's anywhere between $15 to $20 that you are paying. That's crazy for one meal. That's insane. Now, here's the reason I bring all this up. Not to pretty much bash the person that proposed this. And the person that proposed this, just to give you an idea, this was Congresswoman Barbara Lee. She's a Democrat out of California. But here's the thing. What she's proposing is not out of the question. She's proposing a minimum wage increase. That's not out of the question. What's out of the question and is completely absurd is how she is going to propose $50, even if it's 20 or 25. The concern there is, how would you propose this even though our federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour? And many states still go with the federal minimum wage. This is one of the reasons why a lot of the migrants that are coming into the United States, they're not going to the South. They do not want to live in the South. Absolutely not. Because the federal minimum wage is $7.25. The state minimum wage is exactly what the federal minimum wage is. In Washington State, it's double that. California, it's double that. In many states, it is double what the federal minimum wage is. But those states are also Democratic states. They're also pro-immigrant states. So one thing I can tell you is if we go out there and we start giving people pretty much double, and we go from $7.25 to $15 per hour, that's the new federal minimum wage. What it does in these states that already have a minimum wage that's higher, it's just going to push it up. It's just going to push it up a little bit more. And by doing so, things like a Big Mac are going to cost more money. Things like cars, services. You want your lawn mowed? It's going to cost more money. You want your oil changed? It's going to cost more money. You want to go buy something at, let's say, Walmart or Target? It's going to cost more money, because now it costs more money just to get the items loaded onto a truck. It costs more money to ship that truck via a driver all the way across the country. Then people have to offload it, which again takes workers, and that means you got to pay them more. And then the people that actually stock the shelves, right? The janitorial crew, the store associates, all that factors into this. So if you think getting a little bit more per hour is the answer, just understand, you're going to pay more in taxes. You will make more money, but at the same time as you're making more money, you're paying more back to the state, more back to the federal government. That's what's going to happen. And you also give more to these businesses, because guess what? Their costs increase as well. So all I can tell you right now is there's a lot of discussion regarding this $50 per hour minimum wage, or what she's proposing is a livable wage. But in the end, it comes down to, why are prices so expensive? Why is California so expensive? Does it have something to do with the state tax? Probably it does. So I'm going to leave you with that, but let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you think this person is onto something? Or do you think they are on something? Let me know down in the comment section below what you think. What does Congresswoman Barbara Lee, is she really proposing something that is doable, or is this something that's completely out of the question? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. That is what we have for you guys today. Again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.